Thank you so much for attending my PowerPoint presentation on Diretide, Why People Go Berserk. Diretide is an alternate Dota 2 game mode and Halloween event that first started in 2012. It's meant to be a fun little distraction from the standard Dota 2 gameplay, and as a result has become an important part of Dota 2 culture. This is doubly impressive considering that in the 13 years since the original Diretide, it has only come back for 4 years. I attribute this to the gameplay, which is radically different from a standard match of Dota. While the rules have changed quite a bit depending on the year that it came out, the general rule of Diretide is that you have to collect candy and put it into a giant bucket in the middle of a special map. Then, after around 8 to 10 minutes, Roshan will appear and begin beating everybody's ass. He throws a massive wrench in anyone's plans, and teamfights quickly devolve into who can avoid Roshan or trick the enemy team into approaching him. The fun little mechanic where Roshan, when he's walking through the river, picks players up and throws them around was probably inspired or maybe even taken directly from Diretide. Then, even later on in the match, both teams power up and the new objective is to kill Roshan himself. Each time Diretide has come back, it's put a new spin on the game mode, but that's the general idea. It's very fun, and it usually comes with some kind of meta progression, free skins, maybe even a chest every now and again. It's a good time, and Dota 2 players absolutely love it. Meanwhile, Valve seems to forget about it more often than they remember, and the most recent incarnation of Diretide attempted to wrap both it and Frostivus into one single event. While it's hardly a mainstay of Dota, it has definitely found its niche as something that players can eternally complain about not having. The original incarnation of Diretide took place in 2012, which is fascinating for a couple of reasons. The first is that Dota 2 was still a brand new game that very few people had access to at this point. It wasn't really popular, but Valve cared enough to put in a Halloween event for a game that was still in beta. The original Diretide is probably best remembered for introducing the baby Roshan couriers to the game. If you were one of the fastest teams on your entire regional server to kill Roshan, you had a chance of getting a golden baby Roshling. This courier is so coveted and rare that there aren't any for sale on the Steam market, but if you happen to have one, you can immediately sell it to some random guy for $2,000. Now, since this original, there have been plenty of other Baby Roshan skins, and almost all of them are extremely rare or extremely expensive. All of them can trace their lineage back to this little guy. In 2013, Valve once again ran the event back, making everyone think that it would be a thing every year. Little did anyone know, we actually wouldn't be getting another Diretide event until 2020. This massive gap is what ultimately led to the Give Diretide meme with that weird little ghost cowmoji thingy. You can still see it occasionally spammed in Twitch chat to this day, and there was some guy at the most recent international keeping the tradition alive. And then, when people finally stopped asking for it, Valve decided to bring Diretide back with aplomb. In 2020, the holiday event mode made a massive comeback with a bunch of new gameplay changes. This time, every 6 minutes, a random event would happen that would completely throw the game into chaos, such as a bunch of exploding broodmother spiders or a ton of hill troll summoners appearing out of nowhere. This gameplay spruce up did a lot to help, but the main thing that people remember this year's Diretide for is for the chest. The hallowed chest of the Diretide contained a bunch of different skins for different heroes based on a tier system, with the top tier being one of those weird ephemera things that hang out under your hero no matter what's going on. All of the skins were Halloween themed, which means that you can make your Pudge dress up like a creepy stuffed cat doll in the middle of July if you really want to. The event then came back in 2021, which is weird because that was a year where a lot of game studios were sort of taking a break from this kind of thing, and now it's gone again. Based on the previous release schedule, the next Diretide event will likely take place in 2027. Until then, we can all occasionally randomly get a Hallow Chest of the Diretide after a ranked match and think to ourselves, wait, how do I open these things again? I wrote a little bit here about Dota 2's seasonal game modes, feel free to read it if you like. Now, if you weren't around for Diretide, either the old ones or the new ones, you're probably curious as to why Dota 2 fans care about it so much. The vast majority of alternate game modes in Dota 2 only get played for the first week of their release and then quickly become forgotten, and Diretide really isn't an exception to that. My theory as to why Dota 2 players love Diretide so much is because it creates a sense of parity between Dota and other live service multiplayer games. This is a time of year where pretty much every company is rushing out Halloween slop skins so that their players can buy them like pigs at the trough. However, the trough is empty for Dota 2 fans this time of year. We do have the Quarteros Curios event currently active, but if you play a solid amount of Dota, you've probably already hit level 100 or are at least approaching it. Meanwhile, the 45 guys who still play Apex Legends can put a pumpkin helmet on every character in the game. Now, on the spectrum of doomers to bloomers in the Dota 2 fanbase, I definitely fall into the latter camp. Events like Quarteros Curios and, oh yeah, the International prove that Valve still cares about this game. But for almost every Halloween in Dota's history, we've had to sit back and watch as other games enjoy their Halloween skins, and we don't really get anything at all. You know Valve is doing something right when the chief complaint of Dota 2 players is that we don't have anything else to spend our money on. And while we are missing out on a big ol' bear hug from Uncle Gaben himself, we do still have some things to look forward to. The post-TI patch is probably right around the corner, and surely the sequel to Crownfall is late in development. Right? In conclusion, Diretide was alright, and you should have played it when you had the chance. Personally, I miss the Frostivus event where you could kill people to steal their hats. Happy Halloween, and peace on planet Earth.